Okay, we left off on 293. Went up to the T-neck, to the contingent this morning. Okay. Getting close to Mashiach. These guys, they don't know the value of missing learning. Okay. Which one? Which one? Chofetz Chaim brings it's Ton Ve'elio. There's a sefer called Ton Ve'elio, which all what was taught in the basement of Elio Novi. All the different learning teachings of Elio Novi. The Chofetz Chaim brings it down. The Kisei Chofetz Chaim. And the Torah Sabaisa brings it. What all the Amoraim? This is from Amoraim. No. This is not in the Gemara. There's a sefer called Ton Ve'elio Rabbah. It's not a story. It's a sefer. I'll get you the book. I'll get you the sefer. You look it up. Okay, let's do the Mishna Berura. Okay, we left off Daled. We left off Daled 293. Talking about the oil that's left over on the eighth thing, right? Does it have kedusha? Does it not have kedusha? So the Chaber says, "Anosu b'Shemini min Hashemen hatzorach l'shir hadloko," and it was the oil that was needed for the half an hour period. So this is considered designated for the mitzvah. Osa lo madura v'sorf b'fnei atzmo. You make a separate fire and you just burn up the oil because the oil cannot be used for anything else. Sheri huktzal b'tzvoso, because it was designated originally for the mitzvah. V'mnisari v'ashemesh acher vein shishim levatlo. If this oil became intermingled in other and there was less than 60 to 1, although it's only dealing with Nisr Rabbanon, you shouldn't add to it. We say, just as if you have kosher, non-kosher mixing and the ratio is not sufficient, you can add to subsume it. But over here, we pass midbeminos butter. Whatever, one's isa, one's heter. Is this better here? You have oil that you're not permitted to use for yourself, and you have other oil. Okay? Let's see Mishna Berura. Hanosav Yom Shemini, the Bleil Sakodmi Mimnosar, says if it was the earlier nights, if you have leftover oil, use it for the next night. Yochel Ishtamish Ben Lamitzas Adloka Bleil Sashachreyan. Use that oil for the subsequent nights. V'nisar b'Shemin Acher, Gindel Kamei Min Hashem Natzorich. Hainu shlo nosan tchilo rakishir hadloko v'nich b'memtza v'nosa. Meaning initially you put in a half an hour's worth of oil, and it went out within the half an hour. L'cheinos d'huktzil mitzvoso dos lehonis b'menu. Because since it was designated for the mitzvah, you're not permitted to benefit from that oil. Avalim nosan harbi b'ner v'nosa. Let's say you put in more than a half an hour's worth, and it burnt half an hour, and what's left is more than half an hour's worth. Mutal ishtamish lo b'lchatchila, right? It's permitted oil. Shekos leo sim tov reisha and beis v'dah. The ishposkim shesovim dimnos na'shemish b'stam. We discussed this earlier. That if a person put it in without having specifically in mind, it's a half. I can't know exactly half an hour. Just put more, but my mind said is only a half an hour's worth, not more. Only then is the additional oil not huktzal mitzvah. But a person puts it in without things as long as it burns, let it be the mitzvah. Even the amount that's beyond the half an hour takes on the status of being designated for the mitzvah. It's huktzah l'mitzvah. Huktzah kol hashemen im lo hisla l'chatchilo shelo yeser al kashir. I'll tell you, you can save yourself headache by saying specifically, I only want half an hour's worth of oil to be huktzah l'mitzvah. So even if it burns long, it's okay. Because otherwise, you get complicated. You're stuck with all this leftover oil. You have to make a separate fire to burn it up, to consume that oil. Talking about after the eighth night. Say it's the eighth night. Vayin leil simtav reisha mish. Well, no, you're not allowed to spill it out because it's huktzah l'mitzvah. Talking about olive oil in the glass things. Yeah. Okay. Exactly. No, what's left you could pour out. No, half an hour is the mitzvah. More than half an hour. No, so that's what he's saying. So then you have to use it for a mitzvah. So then you complicate yourself. But he says, but if you would say specifically half an hour, you're not complicated. Anything left, you could just throw out. That's exactly what we're saying. But most people don't think about it. So if you don't think about it, so at the end of Hanukkah, we're stuck with all this oil. So you have to make a separate, put a wick in it, and you have to be busy burning up the oil. You could use it for Shabbos. No, it doesn't make a difference. But that's being used for a mitzvah. The whole idea is huktzil a mitzvah. Everybody agrees it's mutal ishtamish ben. That's not the problem. No. You could burn it with the chametz. He says, why don't you leave it for next year? Good question, right? Put it for next year. The chayshin l'takola. It's a Gemara. The Gemara speaks about a case that if you have something, for instance, if you have basa b'cholov, let's say accidentally you have something, milk falls on meat. You know, do you keep it around? Or are you supposed to discard it immediately? You're supposed to discard it immediately because mistakenly somebody may eat it. Or you have a case where tevel or truma becomes tummy, right? What are you're supposed to get rid of it immediately? Either burn it up or discard it. Let's say it's wine, you pour it out. Because again, the Gemara says chayshin l'takola. Because you may mistakenly, it'll create a pitfall for you. Fila anichu b'chli mos. What about if you put it into a vessel which is detestable? That there's no way you're going to use this oil for your own, for food consumption. You may use it for what? For lighting. So good. Let's talk today. Today we don't use oil, right? So if you put it into a vessel, which it causes it to be inedible, so you're not going to eat it, no question. Today our fuel is not oil. So if you may use it for nearest Shabbos, it's not a problem. Using one mitzvah, use it for another mitzvah, it's not a problem. Correct? But it's interesting. The Bachab should say, what does he say? You should burn it up. You say, use it for nearest Shabbos. He doesn't say that you should use it for nearest Shabbos. I'm saying, factually, it seems to be that because initially it was designated for something that you're not permitted to benefit from, it seems to be even for nearest Shabbos it would be considered. Even though it's a little difficult, because the Gemara says, huktzim, the mitzvah, it's bizoyin mitzvah. Use it for anything but a mitzvah, it's not respectful. So you'd say, using for Ner Shabbos, that's being respectful. But evidently you see that even if it's being used in a context, and not in its original context, that's also, it's a problem. It seems to be the halacha. Shein lo sevola, v'ayin b'yordeo sim tzarites evov dish matirin, b'chol istri abonot ho sevol liv nisarif. Now it's interesting. We rule halacha ein vatlis lechatchila. What's the halacha? You have a piece of non-kosher meat falls in the 59 piece of kosher meat. You're not permitted to eat it. Correct? You need a 61 ratio. Howard, we're talking to a chef now, right? So it pertains to you. Okay? 59 to 1. So a person says, and he can't identify where the non-kosher piece is. Otherwise, he just takes it out. He says, I'll add a 60th piece. So we'll say, now it's subsumed. You're not permitted to do it. So why aren't you permitted to do it? So most Rishonim, it's an Isdrabana because what? Because you may come to a situation where you may not have 60 to 1. If you tamper with it, you play, because what happens is you may add and you may not add enough. So as a result of that, rabbinically, you're not permitted to add. But what about if I'm dealing with Isdrabana? So at worst, it's an Isdrabana to do, because you may. And if I do it, let's say I don't add sufficiently. What did I violate? Isdrabana. So it's only Isdrabana, therefore I'm more lenient. That's what he says. By other Isdrabana, we hold that if you don't have a ratio of 60 to 1, you could add. The principle of Ein Vadlis Lechatchila has no application. But so we're saying, despite that, in regard to the oil of Chanukah, right? Therefore, he says, L'chein Kosov Kan Mishi Omer. He brings it as a secondary opinion. There are those who say you should not add, meaning it's not really the halacha. It's a secondary opinion here. Or maybe here it's a separate stringency, but the accepted position is that you could, as you could add for an Isdrabanan, you can add also. Real Ein Vadlis L'Chatchil, so you say, let's take the oil itself and add it to other oil, right? We're speaking where it mixed, and it's a question you have a mixture, and it's not all oil of Hanukkah. So you can't add to complete the 60 to 1, but just not you take the Chanukah oil, just add it to a bottle of olive oil, or add olive oil to it, just subsume the whole thing. There's nothing to talk about. Right? That's not ein vadlis lechatchila. When the Gemara speaks ein vadlis lechatchila means there's a mixture already, and you can't identify where it is. So there it says you're not permitted to add. But to take non-kosher and just subsume it, then that's not even a question, not permitted to do that. Well, why shouldn't you be able to do it? So therefore, who said you're not permitted to do it? Well, what should be the permission? Tell me what the permission. Let me ask a question. You have 61. One of the pieces is not kosher. Are you permitted to eat it? Torah says if you have a ratio, certain ratio, you're permitted to eat it if you can't identify it. So what difference does it make if it happens accidentally or intentionally? I create the same setting. If you even after everything's said, you can't identify the non-kosher. No, 60. You can have 60 to 1. No, originally 59, and now you add a 60th. No, you don't know. You don't know which one was not kosher. You don't know which one is not kosher. Okay, good. So what? It's only us and Rabbanan. On a Torah level, you're permitted. Permitted. Okay, so Shitas arrive at that. You're not permitted. Okay, let's see. Next halacha. Ner Shabbos Korel Ner Shel Chanukah. Personal, this is Gemara. Gemara says, person only has enough money for Ner Shabbos, doesn't have for both Ner Shabbos and Ner Chanukah, which takes precedence. So Ner Shabbos takes precedence over Ner Chanukah. So why? So the Gemara says, because Shalom Bayis is the priority. So therefore, the story I once heard from our Shiva Zechariah Baruch, the Chafetz Chaim, he did everything with zerizus, with alacrity, with zeal, and one day they notice it's Chanukah, and there's a time you're supposed to light, and he's not lighting in time. He's waiting. So they ask him, why are you waiting? He says, my wife is not here. This is a good story for David. Okay? His wife's not there. And as a result of this, he would want his wife should be there. So he said, but the mitzvah is to light, right at whatever it is we discussed, 25 minutes after sundown, 42 minutes after sundown. Here it's already an hour and a half after sundown. He says, because the Gemara says if you have question of Ner Shabbos, Ner Chanukah, which takes precedence, Ner Shabbos, Shalom Bayis. So you see, Shalom Bayis is a crucial element that even supersedes Ner Chanukah. This is a question of delaying the lighting. There's no question Shalom Bayis has to be addressed. Therefore, that's the reason why I'm waiting. Therefore, it's not a question, I'm delaying the mitzvah. My obligation is to delay the mitzvah. That's what he responded. But the Gemara says presuming Nisa would trump frequency, because it's presuming Nisa. The Gemara does discuss that, because here you're publicizing them. It's just not doing another mitzvah, right? It's a mitzvah presuming Nisa. No, they're both Rabbanon. We're not from Kiddush. The Gemara says even Kiddush. Presuming Nisa even supersedes Kiddush, which Kiddush is definitely more frequent, and it's a Doraisa, even that. Okay? Mishen Yodom Aseg is Liknos Ner Chanukah v'Ner Shabbos. Person doesn't have the financial ability to purchase the Ner Chanukah and Ner Shabbos, Yikin and Ner Shabbos. You should purchase the Ner Shabbos, V'nei Shalom Beiso. Shalom Bayis. Ayin Leo Sim Tov Reishal. Gimel Sif Gimel. V'miyeshlo l'shel Shabbos ve'lo ner Chanukah liyayin l'kiddush. Here, Hayom, this quoting the Gemara. Person only has a means to purchase ner Chanukah or wine for kiddush, which is a doraisa. Yikan Ler Chanukah. You should use the money to purchase Ner Chanukah, Mishum Persumi Nisa. So Persumi Nisa supersedes, trumps the what? Kiddush. Vuadin, Ner Chanukah Korul Leyayin Havdalah. Same thing. As it supersedes the Kiddush, supersedes Ner Havdalah, Havdalah is Drabonan. Right? The whole concept, it's Machlok Rishonim, that Havdalah is Dorais or Drabonan. But Kiddush, nobody argues. Friday night's definitely. Firstly, La Halacha, the way we rule, it's not simple. It's also Machlok Rishonim. Some say saying Kiddush on wine is Doraisa. You're supposed to say Kiddush on wine. The drinking is Drabonan. But on wine is Doraisa. It's Tosis. No, it's Gemara. They said it has that. It's like not blowing shofar on Rosh Hashanah and falls out on Shabbos. The Chacham have the ability, as long as you're not violating something proactively, it's not a problem. They say presuming these have to be addressed. The concept's rabbinical, but it's an important concept. Therefore, it takes priority over the wine for Kiddush. Same idea. Apply the same principle to both. Yeah, that's what I mentioned. But there's some Rishonim. There's a Rosh. Sochem says, Tosis says that even though the drinking of the wine is rabbinical, but the Kiddush to be set on a cup of wine, that's a Doraisa. So it's a question. I mean, La Halacha, we rule a person that doesn't have wine, you could, right? You could say Kiddush on challah, Friday night, bread. Okay, but other Rishonim say you can't. You can't use bread for Kiddush. Okay, Tosim Sochim and Arvi Psochim also. Let's say Liknos Ner Chanukah Vim Yeshlo Nerecho the Beso Sagi. What happens? He has one candle, right? One candle. Can't afford the candle per night, but he has enough for one candle for Hanukkah, and for the candle for their Shabbos. Avagav the Tov Roy Shia Shnei Neros LeShabbos. You have the question. Why do we light two candles for Shabbos? Because to correspond to Shomer Zohar, right? Or Zohar v'Shomer. First, Luchos it says Zohar, Shomer Shabbos L'Kacho. The second, the Torah it says regarding Shabbos is Shamor. So to correspond to both, we have two. But let's say a person lights one candle. You say the bracha lot in there. You could say the bracha. So he says, if it's a question of having one candle for Shabbos and one for Hanukkah, one is sufficient for Shabbos. Aval gav de tov roy shia shnei ros l'Shabbos kleosim reisamim gimel komokom mokom atchak. The person has no choice. Dashi nerechod al shulchan shochal v'shar l'ner Chanukah, and the rest should be ner Chanukah. Levi min hamahadrin. You hear this? Levi min hamahadrin. Even min hamahadrin. We're speaking about. It's a question of having two candles for Shabbos, and let's say it's the second night, and having two candles for Hanukkah. And if you have two for Hanukkah, you're only going to have one for Shabbos. Have one for Shabbos. Because they legislated mahadrin and a mahadrin to identify every night. Shabbos, it's what we call, it's an inyan. It's something which is admirable. It's admirable to have two, one to correspond to Zohar v'Shomer. But for Chanukah, there is a halachic basis to be mahadrin and a mahadrin, to identify each night. No. One for Shabbos, definitely. What about two for Chanukah and one for Shabbos? It's the second night. And if you have a question, do you have like one for Hanukkah, and two for Shabbos, or one for Shabbos and two for Hanukkah? So Hanukkah takes precedence. You like two for Hanukkah.
So if you only have two, how's the second night of Hanukkah?
No, one and one. Well, let's say you have three. Let's say you have three, and it's Shabbos.
That's the second night of
Second night of Hanukkah. It's better to like two. It's better two for Hanukkah and one for Shabbos. Because one it was legislated mahadrin and mahadrin. There's no question. We're talking about you have enough for the late. What? Very good. Exactly. Every night to identify the night. Mahadrin and mahadrin is to identify each night. So that's not, that's the base, that's doing the mitzvah of Hanukkah. So you're not mahadir, you're not doing anything more special. Good, so you're doing, that's the base mitzvah. Okay?
So if it's the third night, and you have 3 candles,
No, then you write 1 and 1.
2 Shabbos,
Two Shabbos, you do 2 Shabbos, and then, because you're, right, it doesn't look exactly.
so then you do 2 and 1.
Then you would do 2 and 1. Right. Because it's Shalom Bayis. Except when you do Shalom Bayis, if you're able to address the issue of Zochah V'Shomer, it's something, it's admirable. But it's not a halacha that you're supposed to do that. It's like it's like a minog. A minog we like 2 because Zochah V'Shomer. Some people like 5. Or as many children they have. People, parents and children, they light 5 candles. So there are 3 children. So what happened to Zochah V'Shomer? The answer is it's a minog. Because it's Shalom Bayis. That you should eat by candlelight. You shouldn't eat in the dark. That's the idea. Okay, let's see the Chovos HaLevavos. Yeah, definitely. That's why Shabbos takes precedence. If you have one, only one, use it for Shabbos. It's halacha, of course. Halacha. No, it's halacha. Say a bracha on it. Lahadlik ner shel Shabbos. Definitely. I'll give it to you right afterwards. Everything's quiet on the home front. Mitzvah Hashem. Okay? Okay. But, every day is an ounce. Okay. Uh-huh. She appreciates your sense of humor.